skeleton woman, an old man, and an old woman lived in a cabin on top of a hill. And it was very cold on that mountain day. And the old woman said, I need food. And the old man said, you know, the other day I saw a deer walking through the forest. I'll go out and get it, but do not burn any of the firewood, the kindling that was there by the fire twice. Don't burn it. She said, okay. And he went out the door, and it was cold in that cabin. So cold that your hands would turn red and raw. And she rubbed her hands together. And she thought, just a little fire would make my hands warm. And she built a little fire and she held her hands on that fireplace. And she felt the warmth. She says, a little more wood would help. And she put some more wood on, and more until she used all the wood up. And she had closed her eyes and held her hands over the fireplace. And all of a sudden she opened up her eyes and her hands were burning. She stuck it into her mouth and tasted that raw flesh. And it tastes good. And she began to eat all the flesh off her hand, and then off the other hand, and then her arms, and her other arms, and then down to her feet. She ate the flesh. She pulled it off of her legs and off her body, and then off her face, and she ate that until she was just a pile of bones sitting in a rocking chair. Her husband came walking in, and he backed into the cabin, and he dropped the deer. Honey, you started a fire. I told you not to start a fire. She said, that's okay. I become accustomed to eating raw meat. And she stepped out of the dark corner from that rocking chair, and he saw that skeleton woman was his wife, and he took off running, and she took off running after him, snapped her fingers as the bones are moving, and she chased him down the hill, and he chased further, faster and faster until he got to the edge of the cliff, and he yelled, help, help. And there was a woman who lived across from the hill. And she said, what do you need? He said, I need to get across. My wife, she's a skeleton woman and she's eating everything in sight. She said, pick some berries and chop me some wood and I'll help you get across. He said, but there's a woman, a skeleton woman, coming and chasing and going to eat me raw. She said, do what I said. And so he chopped some wood and he picked some berries, and she elongated her body all across that little valley of a cliff. And he walked across and got onto the other side. And the skeleton woman got down there and grabbed that old woman by her hands and said, you'll take me across. She says, you've got to chop some wood and pick some berries. And she says, no, I won't. And she started walking across that woman. And that woman went, whoosh! And those bones fell down, down, down to the rocks below and scattered throughout the wind. The old man fell in love with the woman. They became kind of entangled together in their relationship. And some nights, when the wind is blowing through the valley, you can hear those bones just a-clicking and clattering. And we'll hope that those bones will never, ever get together again.